When I was a kid, I used to watch a lot of alternate history, and to this day, I am still a fan of alternate history as alt history is as core as a childhood experience as fidget spinners and wildcat. This also includes sports. I watched a lot of NFL and NBA what-ifs primarily, and in the NBA, of all the scenarios I have watched, from CP3 being traded, no LeBron Heat, Curry winning in 2016, and even a scenario where Jordan and LeBron play in the same era? There's one I've barely seen. Like, we all know CP3 being traded to the Lakers is milked to death. There's a fair amount of Curry in Milwaukee videos with thousands of views, but there's one that I am so shocked that only one person has covered, a moment that altered the entire 2010s NBA landscape. What if Ray Allen missed and the Spurs won the 2013 finals? I looked far and wide. AM Hoops made the only full-length video I could find with at least 2,000 views. The rest are short. Look, here's what happens if I type Curry in Milwaukee. So many of these NBA 2K sim. And yes, this was a trade that was considered in 2012 and eventually landed them bogus. Anyway, now if no one has done this scenario, except for AM Hoops, then I'm gonna do it. But first, thank you all for understanding my break and all the personal things I've gone through. My college semester is done and I'm in the process of grad school applications. But enough about me. LeBron is now 1-3 in the finals, while Duncan is now 5-0. So what happens now? Well, based on what I could find, there were talks to break up the Heatles. Not entirely, but basically retool, and the prime candidate to be traded was Chris Bosh to Charlotte? Yeah, this is real. I couldn't find any more details, so Bosh for Gerald Henderson and picks, and more picks. Pat Riley doesn't like rookies. So with this in mind, Riley takes all the picks that Charlotte spit out for him, packages them alongside Shane Battier and Gerald Henderson, of course, for Tyson Chandler. Okay, listen, by now the media is calling the Heatles a failed experiment, with their only title being against an inexperienced OKC team that had, at the time, had its big three all under 25 years old. In this scenario, Chandler made sense. He was a 30-year-old coming off an All-Star appearance and was just 2 years removed from a Defensive Player of the Year award. The Heat are looking to maximize LeBron's final 3 years. They need defense, and Bosh provided that, but he didn't provide rim protection. While they lose a degree of spacing, they get the rim protector and rebounder they desperately needed. Meanwhile, New York is in an era of rapid decline, but thankfully, they have the Hornets' 4th overall pick, and
the New York Knicks select Cody Zeller from Indiana University.
With this shakeup, the Heat go 56-26, the Nuggets go 33-49, and the Hornets go 49-33, going third in the East. The Heat terrorize the East and meet the Pacers in the ECF. Tyson Chandler is the ultimate neutralizer to Roy Hibbert. In the West, the Spurs face the Thunder and MVP KD. The Spurs won the 2014 NBA Finals because they were driven by heartbreak and anger. Without the O'Brien slipping through their hands, the Thunder are back in the finals versus the Heat. Now the narrative is, can this Thunder, stronger, more experienced, albeit without Harden, get revenge?
Miami's back on top once again.
Well, the Heat win in 7. So, you probably are all wondering, is LeBron going? No. Sure, the Heat were aging, Way's knees were getting old, but they have Tyson Chandler, and happened to stumble upon some Marshall Lumini. I forgot his name. I think his name was Henry or Harry Whiteside. But anyway, it probably doesn't matter much to the plot. LeBron doesn't have the incentive to return. So what happens to Kevin Love? He is traded to Golden State. In exchange, Klay Thompson has to go to Minnesota. So no Splash Bros in this timeline. This was actually a trade that almost went through and nearly wiped out the Warriors dynasty. but Jerry West saw the future and made sure this move never happened. OKC, fueled by heartbreak, realizes they need a James Harden replacement if they want to win it all. So they go to free agency and get Pau Gasol, something that almost happened. Chicago, without Gasol, chooses Carmelo Anthony. Melo almost chose Chicago as a free agent destination, but he stayed put because of Coach Thibs' job security. But in this alternate timeline, the Bosh Cats, yes, I'm gonna call them Bosh Cats, mess up the seeding to the point where Chicago plays another team instead of the Wizards. And let's say they win a painstaking 7 games. Even if they do get squished by Indiana, they managed to win 2 playoff series in 2 years straight without their best player. And it puts Jimmy Butler, who had a decent series, in the spotlight even more. So Melo signed. And let's go to the 2014 draft.
With the first pick in the 2014 NBA draft, the Denver Nuggets select Andrew Wiggins.
Denver owned the Knicks pick because of the Carmelo trade, so that means Cleveland gets...
With the 10th pick in the 2014 NBA draft, the Cleveland Cavaliers select Elfrid Payton.
A Kyrie Bennett Payton would just be too many cooks in the kitchen. This would create a zany chemistry where Kyrie has to be the spot-up man while Payton and Bennett spread all over the paint. Yeah, so, well, Golden State loses Klay, they get Love and Levine in return. But will that work? They kinda need Klay to basically revolutionize the sport. Klay was a zero-gravity perimeter shooter who could also act as a two-way defender. I don't have time to break down the entire, playstyle of the Warriors, but the question is, how will they fare with Love? Also, Levine comes off the bench. And for Minnesota, Klay immediately becomes the best defender on the team, and shooter of course. Ricky Rubio feeds him the balls to the corner and he drills them. In 2015, so this is the only reminder in the video, but whenever the standings come up, you can just pause the video and read them. But anyway, the shakeup on the east side is so drastic that the Bulls end up making it all the way to the Eastern Conference Final, but they fall to Miami as usual. Also, if you're wondering, no, the Hawks are not making it. I'm sorry, but they were not a finals contender. They were the definition of a regular season team. And I know that's just gonna give me a lot of flack in the comments. Moving on, in the West, something happens. In the real Western Conference Finals, Curry fell over Ariza up against Houston, up 3-0. Now, he did have Klay to back him up, but instead we have a 19-year-old Levine, Kevin Love, who's out by the way, and this bench kid named Draymond, who was 6th man of the year. Also, Golden State is up only 2-1, and every quarter matters. So even if Curry is just out for like 1 or 2 quarters, that does give Houston the momentum to snatch a crucial game. The Rockets meet the Heat in the NBA Finals. Now, could an aging Miami roster beat the Rockets? It's close. However, they say defense wins championships, and the Heat had defense. They not only had the greatest player on the planet, but they had a Defensive Player of the Year candidate and a young blocking machine, the Marshall Illuminati. And I just remembered his name. I think its name is Humphrey. Anyway, all of a sudden, LeBron has 3 rings earlier than expected. Now that's a plot twist you didn't expect. Okay, you have Zeller, Harris, and now Cat, the biggest media market in the entire world, with their leader, if you even want to call him that, being Gerald Henderson, and he's also a shell of himself. They will struggle to score 100 points. This is the definition of an old school basketball team. I mean, you get mid-range after mid-range shot, and simply put, they would have to play a more conservative style of ball. Now, the question is, does the triangle system that Phil Jackson admired work? Yes, but no. Sure, you have the triple threat guy in Cat and Gary Harris to spacing. Just look at how the 2000 Lakers and compare it to someone like Cody Zeller, and you'll see what I mean.
The Minnesota Timberwolves select Kristaps Porzingis from Leopold.
Yeah, that Minnesota defense is scary. Plus, not only do they have a perimeter shooter, but there are 2 guys defending the perimeter. And if you get past them, you'd have to face a Latvian skyscraper.
In the 2015 NBA Draft, the Cleveland Cavaliers select Justice Winslow.
Cleveland gets Justice Winslow as they give up on Anthony Bennett.
Look at this dude. Wait till you see the... no.
Bennett is traded to Philadelphia for practically pennies because, remember, Philadelphia at this time wanted to be the worst team ever. The Cavs are still clunky, but there's some sort of direction. The Nets have the 13th overall pick, but oops, Atlanta has the pick, and they would trade that to Washington in real life, meaning that
2015 NBA Draft. The Washington Wizards select Devin Booker.
yes, the Wizards have Booker. They finally have that third star they always needed. Meanwhile, in free agencies, the Bulls need a true rim protector. They get Robin Lopez. At first, I considered Tristan Thompson, but I figured someone needs to mentor Kyrie and Peyton, and Winslow, of course. The Rockets get LaMarcus Aldridge, being one piece away, while San Antonio would have been the much more impressive spot. The man wants to win, and the Spurs haven't won much since 2013 and are seemingly declining. The Rockets aggressively pursue even more. Meanwhile, Tyson Chandler hits free agency. So where is he going? Dallas. The Warriors are just not going 73-9, like no way. They end up 61-21, still a number 1 seed, still going to the finals, and the standings look a bit like this. OKC beats Golden State in the conference finals.
Final seconds. Here's Waiters. That will do it.
They never blow that 3-1 lead, instead finishing it 4-1. In the East, the Heat are basically on their last legs, as LeBron's 6-year contract is. Heat are weaker, especially with Wade's knees and Chandler moving on. They don't make it to the second round, which means the Raptors face the Thunder in the finals. The Thunder in 6, and in a twist, the Thunder win in 6 because they have Pau Gasol, and of course, KD and Russ. And in a twist, the reason the Thunder lost back in 2012 is the same reason the Raptors lost in 2016. They're inexperienced. Alright, if you've been following through, the biggest question on your mind, where does the king go? It's LA. I mean, he always wanted to go there and start LeBron Inc. And what's interesting is that someone else wanted to go there. That is Paul George. He's on a sinking ship in Indiana, so LeBron recruits him, which essentially is PG-13's wet dream.